Now let's see the internal structure of right atrium. Firstly, smooth posterior part or sinus venerum. Developmentally, it is derived from the right horn of sinus venosus. Most of the tributaries except the anterior cardiac veins open into it. The superior vena cava opens at the upper end. The inferior vena cava opens at the lower end. The opening of the inferior vena cava is guarded by the rudimentary valve of the inferior vena cava or eustachian valve. During the embryonic life, the valve guides the inferior vena cava blood to the left atrium through foramen ovale. The coronary sinus opens between the opening of inferior vena cava and right atrioventricular orifice. The opening is guarded by valve of coronary sinus or Thebetian valve. The venae caudas minime are numerous small veins present in the wall of all four chambers. They opens into the right atrium through small foramina. The intervenous tubercle of lower is a very small projection circularly visible on the posterior wall of the atrium just below the opening of the superior vena cava. During embryonic life, it directs the superior caval blood to the right ventricle. Rough anterior part or pectinate part, including the auricle. Developmentally, it is derived from the primitive atrial chamber. It presents as a series of transverse muscular ridges called musculi pectinati. They arise from crista terminalis and runs forwards and downwards towards the atrioventricular orifice, giving an appearance of the teeth of comb. In auricle, the muscles are interconnected to form a reticular network. Right atrioventricular orifice. Blood passes out of the right atrium through the right atrioventricular or tricuspid orifice and goes to the right ventricle. The tricuspid orifice is guarded by the tricuspid valve, which maintains unidirectional flow of blood. Interatrial septum. Developmentally, it is derived from the septum primum and septum secundum. It presents the fossa ovalis, a shallow saucer-shaped depression in the lower part. The fossa represents site of the embryonic septum primum. The annulus ovalis or limbus fossa ovalis is the prominent margin of the fossa ovalis. It represents the lower free edge of the septum secundum. It is distinct above and at the sides of the fossa ovalis, but it is deficient inferiorly. Its anterior edge is continuous with the left end of the valve of inferior vena cava. The remains of the foramen ovale are occasionally present. This is a small slit-like vascular opening between the upper part of the fossa and the limbus. It is normally occluded after birth, but may sometimes persist.